Reverend Jerome Jones Sr., Miss Lorraine Jones, Jayla Jones, Minister Teresa Mullins, and Miss Cynthia Herndon and Mr. Troy Belt from the Fowler United Methodist Church. Over the past few months, our county has seen a marked increase in thefts, vandalisms, destructions, and burglaries against places of worship in our communities. The following is a breakdown of our most recent incidents. The Ark and Dove Presbyterian Church on Piney Orchard Parkway in Odenton. On June 13th, Black Lives Matter and Pride signs were vandalized. At the Fowler United Methodist Church on Bestgate Road in Annapolis, June 9th, a burglary with destruction and vandalism in excess of $100,000. The St. Philip's Episcopal Church on Bestgate Road in Annapolis. On June 10th, destruction to a church sign, and again on June 13th, destruction to church statues. The St. Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church on Riva Road in Annapolis. June 24th, church signs were vandalized, and there was destruction to some of their flower beds. Now, the officers and detectives from these districts where these churches are based have utilized every resource made available to them in bringing those responsible for these crimes to justice. On June 27th, detectives, with the help of the public, filed charges against Blake Krenzer and Brandon Krenzer of Gambrills, Maryland, for their alleged involvement in the June 13th vandalism of the Black Lives Matter and Pride signs at the Ark and Dove Presbyterian Church. And just yesterday, June 28th, detectives from our Southern District, with the assistance of an astute patrol officer, were able to identify a possible suspect and, through further case enhancement, make the positive identification and arrest of Jaron Alexander of Maryland in connection with not only the crime committed against the Fowler United Methodist Church, but the St. Philip's Episcopal Church in Annapolis, and potentially more, pending further investigation. It is through the dogged determination of these officers and detectives of our department, with some help from the citizens that we serve, that these case closures were made possible. At this time, I'd like to invite Deputy Chief Roberts for her remarks, and she will be followed by the County Executive, Steuart Pittman, and Mr. Eugene Peterson, and Reverend Jones. Chief Roberts.
Thank you, Corporal Anderson. Good morning. I'm Deputy Chief Katie Roberts. As you just heard, the Anne Arundel County Police Department has been investigating a series of hate bias incidents in our southern and western districts over the past few months that have resulted in several arrests. Let me be very clear. There is no place for hate in our county. We will not tolerate hateful acts of any kind towards our places of worship or any individuals in this county. Our department takes these heinous acts seriously. We conduct thorough investigations whether a crime has been committed or not, and also take the approach of responding in a supportive and empathetic manner due to the impact and the trauma these incidents of hate cause to our community members. Regarding these types of incidents, I want to take this opportunity to thank the great work of our patrol officers and our detectives. Their teamwork resulted in identifying and arresting the suspect responsible for more than $100,000 worth of damages to the Fowler United Methodist Church in Annapolis and to the damages to the St. Philip's Episcopal Church in Annapolis. I'm proud to report that that suspect was taken into custody yesterday. Additionally, I am proud to announce 2 suspects were identified and charged in connection with the defacing of the Black Lives Matter and Pride banners at the Ark and Dove Church in Odenton. Within 30 minutes of posting surveillance images on our social media, several community members came forward with tips that led to the arrest of those cases. These are amazing examples of community policing. It's our officers, it's our detectives, it's our residents that work together to solve these kinds of crimes and makes our community safer. On behalf of Chief Amel Atwood, I once again want to extend my thanks to the dedicated officers and detectives who work tirelessly to close out these cases, of course, in collaboration with our community. This is why Chief Atwood calls our department the best damn police department in the country. Thank you. At this time, I will turn it over to our County Executive, Mr. Steuart Pittman.
Thank you, Chief. Well, first I want to congratulate the good men and women in our Anne Arundel County Police Department, the best damn police department in the country, for their great work. The detectives, the community that supported them in their work. All hate incidents, hate crimes as well, but even just hate incidents that are reported in this county get investigated by our officers. The victims hear from the officers, the perpetrators hear from the officers if we can find them. And so any perpetrators who think that a house of worship is a place to express their hate should learn from this that they will track you down and we will prosecute. If it's somebody who needs help, they will get that help, whether it's mental health or otherwise, but they will also be prosecuted because this is criminal activity. To the congregations, first of Fowler United Methodist who are here, thank you for being here. The photographs that I saw of the destruction in your church, of your cross, of your Bibles, of your prayer books, it's hard not to feel a sense of just plain shock and sadness at what happened in your church. And I know all of you are feeling that. I know that some of your members are even reluctant or fearful to attend the church under these circumstances. And I want you to know that our police department is with you, that we will work with the state to get resources for security at your church. Please come to these houses of worship and come together, because we're safer when we're together. And I believe that, and I hope that incidents like these will help us grow and overcome hate, find love, find peace in our communities, and so we are standing with these houses of worship now and always. So congratulations and thank you. I would like to introduce Eugene Peterson, who's the chair of our Human Relations Commission in Anne Arundel County.
Thank you, County Executive Pittman. As chair of the Anne Arundel County Human Relations Commission, I can say that the commission has been watching with dismay as the horrific incident happened at Fowler United Methodist Church. We've issued 2 statements condemning other hate-fueled incidences at churches that happened at other churches in the county. We appreciate the hard work that the county police department has engaged in that has identified several perpetrators of this hate-inspired vandalism. We sincerely hope that anyone involved in these kinds of heinous actions will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now it's time for all of us to get aboard the love train, as the 70s soul group, the OJs, urged us to do. If we all condemn hate bias actions and call on others to defeat hate with love, we will take a giant step in making Anne Arundel County the best place for all. And I'd like to thank the county council members that are here today. We appreciate it. It's needed for all of us to stand against this kind of activity. And I really think that it's time for us to say, truly, enough is enough. Thank you.
I'm Reverend Jerome Jones, Sr. of Fowler United Methodist Church. This is an amazing day to where we see justice. But most of all, I cannot dare explain when I arrived to my church. I have pastored since 2012, and I have never seen a church in such disarray and so much pain in a room. But today I'm here because we have held on to our faith, and most of all, we never let go of hope. And it's truly an honor that we have a justice system that we have here in Anne Arundel County. And I am so elated on behalf of my congregation that we thank so many great leaders who have come past and showed love. We want to thank those volunteers, those neighbors that the Bible says, love your neighbor, the neighbors that came and began to sit with us in our pain. And I just want to thank Executive Pittman. I want to just thank the chief. I want to thank all the detectives who work so diligently with us. I want to thank our trustees at our church who work diligently. I want to shout out to our whole church family who pushed through the pain, because it was not easy coming that Sunday morning. But most of all, I want to thank our delegate, Shanika Henson, who showed up that very Sunday that I was able not to feel alone. I want you also thank my council member who showed up on last Sunday as well. I want to thank Alderman Sheila Finlacy. I want to thank also Senator Sarah Etheridge, because it showed action. It showed love, and love is action. And I feel so great that my congregation, my members who are 96 years old, who have never seen the church ever desecrated, now could come and rest in a place that's supposed to be safe for all. I want to thank you all for helping our church, who was now at one time felt so much hate. Now we feel the love, and we welcome everyone. And just like right now the air is not breathable, you can come to Fowler's United Methodist Church and breathe, because that is a church where love, hope, joy, and peace is. And I want to thank our United Methodist Conference, Bishop Latrell Eastling, and our district superintendent, Sarah Schickler, and most of all, Melissa Luber, who is our communications chair, who started initial posting and did a story for us. But together, we are a community. And as I close, is that Frederick Douglass once said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. And as hard as it was to struggle, I'm here today to tell you the progress looked beautiful. Yes. And I want to thank our officials. Could we just at least give them a hand for a job well done? Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Jones. We're going to open up the floor to some questions. If any of you have any questions, we will do our best to answer. We do have a few detectives from Southern and Western District here to provide some answers. And we do have a handout at the conclusion of this with some more details about the incidents at Ark and Dove and the United Methodist Church.
Can you give us any more descriptions of the backgrounds of the people you arrested? I mean, do they have a history of this type of activity, especially the brothers? Do they have affiliations with hate groups?
I think some of those things are still being, since it's so fresh, some of this is so brand new, some of that is still being investigated to look at ties and connections and motives. So I think the detectives that are here today are also still going down those paths and running down those leads to see where that takes them.
I don't want to assume anything, but what was the motive here? Was it race, religion, or both? Or?
And I think that's still being determined according to what we've been told by the detectives. Like we said, the one gentleman was just taken into custody yesterday.
You don't want to assume anything either. What were the ethnicities of the suspects? Are they white or?
The two gentlemen from the Ark and Dove that were arrested were white males, and yes, ma'am. And then the suspect from the Fowler was a black African American.
Is there thought that he had something against the church or someone in the church?
We don't have any information indicating that at this time. I don't believe detectives have learned of that.
Is there any history of mental illness?
Detectives are still looking into that.
Was there any other evidence besides the tips from community members that contributed to the arrest?
Yeah, we can't go into a lot of the evidence, but one of the things that we did find was that it was one of our midnight officers, that astute midnight officer that had gone out to a trespassing complaint and made an arrest and remembered the case and its proximity to where the trespassing occurred, and made that connection in his mind that this could be related, made contact with the detectives, and that's how that came to a conclusion. It was just a watchful patrol officer who had the right mind to say, hey, this guy could be connected, and fortunately for us, unfortunately for the detectives, they were able to put those pieces together.
Which suspect is
The United Fowler, the one in Southern.
This is for anybody. I mean, what do you say to people in the county who may be saying, well, they caught these three, it may happen again? What do you say to people as far as their safety in this county in terms of hate crimes and their safety just doing their day-to-day business?
I mean, personally, I would say that Anne Arundel County is a safe place to live and work, raise a family, go to church, and use our recreation. We have a tremendous amount of resources at our disposal to try to look into these things. Nobody has the magic 8-ball that can predict where these things are going to happen or the frequency of occurrence. But we do everything that we can through our training, education, knowledge, experience to utilize every resource at our disposal to bring these people to justice.
I would just say that we are safer with these 3 suspects having been caught than we were before. And for the people who are victims, knowing that the perpetrator has been caught makes them, I assume, feel safer, knowing who it was.
Since hate is so rampant, you would think that the fact that these guys got caught would be a deterrent to others. But in many instances, people take it as a way to be copycats or to go out and do more. Is that something you're concerned about?
We do consider those aspects of the publicity of these things and the heightened publicity. I know that the case surrounding the Methodist Church has garnered a lot of attention just because of the veracity of the destruction. $100,000 in one church in one night is an astronomical amount, and it's not just the money. It's the safety, the security, that sort of impact that it has on people who are looking at it from the outside and the people who are looking at it from the inside. So we do consider those things, and we expect it to be a deterrent, but we can't always determine that these sort of actions on our end are some sort of obstacle that we kind of put in place for these sorts of things.
I think the important thing to mention also is even if there are copycats and there's more incidents, we're
We're going to get them too.
to investigate and to make sure that we make an arrest on that. And I think our track record has showed with that. But just these last 2 weeks and the arrests that we've made, we've said it over and over again, these types of acts will not be tolerated. We put all 110% into those investigations. It showed these last 2 weeks. And no matter what happens, we know we have a strong community support. And together with the police department and that partnership, we'll make arrests. And I think that message is loud and clear now.
Brother Reverend, did your insurance take care of this?
We're going through right now. The insurance have I would say has not been an easy task, but we are pushing through. But we are grateful for the donations we have received. It has having an older congregation. It does take time because we had several TVs that was destroyed. So we are looking for volunteers to help put some stuff back in place. But we are hopeful and we're grateful.
All of those papers that were on the floor, were they ripped from Bibles?
Yes, those were hymn books and Bibles where the perpetrator actually ripped each page by page. And we're so grateful that on that following Saturday, we had several churches that was able to donate to replace those hymnals and some of those Bibles that about the time my congregation came in for Sunday worship, even though they were fearful, it gave them great hope knowing that they had a hymnal and a Bible to hold on to.
How many hymnals and Bibles do you think they destroyed?
I would say over 100.
Do you see any ties to any local extremist groups with any of these suspects? Are they lone wolves? Any signs of that?
I'm not aware that detectives have made any sort of connections along those lines, but I know that the detectives are looking into the histories of all the parties that are involved. Okay, seeing no more movement in the room, we will conclude this. And like I said, Mark Lemansky has copies of more detailed, more data-driven information for you guys in the back. Thank you.
Reverend, with anything we can do, let the I can, I've got the webpage, I'll send you my email.
Why don't you
my
leave that here?
email address. And, so sorry for what happened. Glad that we got a police department and the chief to get things done. And I might say,